So he's saying that the other areas, that one asks, are you going to go back to the market and raise another money, like bond? It's a matter of timing, because we are trying to, according to they are trying to increase the oil pumping of crude oil. Sure, you get, like, if we begin to pump like 2 million barrels a day, we expect that to give us more money so that we don't really have to. He didn't answer that correctly, because number one, with Donald Trump, the idea of you pumping 2 million barrels is only in your head. If you are a Ronuku watching me right now, that idea is in your head. They have no alternative on how to generate any other money anymore. Because once Donald Trump says they should start, what do you call that thing again? Like, if they should start, extracting their own crude oil in America, well, there's a word for it. Once they start drilling in America, they will force the hand of Saudi Arabia to crash the price. Once Saudi Arabia and others started to crash the price of crude oil, in Nigeria, ban Nigeria here. Number one, funding your budget is dead on arrival. Dead. They will have to borrow money to do that. And borrowing money means they will have to take conditions that will continue to devalue your naira. About 2025, you're tough, man. And it is not even a cost. It's a common sense thing. Because once the price of petroleum crashed, gas, slave trade, some of you Ronukus, they should better find a way of how to kind of like send you across the Atlantic. All one plantation to later, you see, raise money. Because once the price of petroleum crashes, and it's their budget that they are planning to sell crude oil at $70 per barrel. They want to exchange naira for 1,500 naira to $1. Meanwhile, the proper exchange rate is currently at 1,650 naira to $1, right? So if the price of petroleum crashes, gas, and I don't even think some of you have any real value, because a bit of a majority, anyway. Because if it was during the slave trade, you would be worthless. Runukus and the rest, you would probably be worthless. Because some of you, if you can see you like this, right? You are textbook definition of what shege is, the real shege of that contraption. And that's why some of them are so happy when they look at people who are once successful, who were able to pay their bills before now, start struggling. Then they will say, hey, this is the real value. Now all of you have been living fake life. That's what the Runukus will tell you. I'm saying this right now, not because I have any bad projection for you, but because it is the reality. On the other hand, the Shettima was, he met with, I think this was the European Union leader or something, and he's talking about the potentiality of them, as Africa, helping the rest of the Europe when it comes to energy. Because the Europe need more energy now. And then she has said all this nonsense. May I play on before we go to the next one?
I could understand the question. Incredible.
But most importantly, sir, we are talking of the president. My leader, my boss, is someone who also grew up in the finance ecosystem. He was a financial controller for ExxonMobil. He was a transformative leader in Lagos. Subsidy removal, alignment of the exchange rate, tax reforms, so many ongoing reform efforts, and our economy has turned the corner. We have crossed the Rubicon and we are on a path to sustain growth. So we seek for your collaboration in fundamentally 2 or 3 areas. One is the African Atlantic gas pipeline that is supposed to take gas from Nigeria to Morocco. And because of the Europe-Maghrebi gas pipeline, it can easily reach Europe. And with all the challenges, the geopolitical challenges in Europe, with Russian gas having problems, and with the demand for energy rising because of AI, data mining, storages, and so on, will be in advantage position to take advantage of these opportunities. And a lot of littoral West Africans say that have discovered gas are more than willing to plug into the system and give their gas to other. Nigeria is actually a gas nation. We are not an oil nation. And because of our population, we either take care of the young men, our average age is 16.9. The demographic bulge, we either take care of them or they take care of us 10, 20 years down the line. So this is why we are in a hurry to develop in our enlightened self-interest. And gas provides us with the utmost opportunity to generate wealth for our people. The other issue we are seeking collaboration has to do with the recharging of the lake chat. You know, as I said earlier, there is an incestuous relationship between the economy and the ecology in the Sahelian region. The challenges of Boko Haram, of ISWAP, cannot be disconnected from the realities of existential threats we are facing.
Nuisance Lele.
They put on inside suits. Al-Majiri in suits. Boko Haram in suits. He sat there, right, telling the European that all of this Russia gas and Nigeria is not an oil country. Nigeria is a gas country. So all this KKK, you know, like the pipeline that we can give you all of this, and we know that you are going to need more energy, okay, in storage of data and AI and all these things. So you have to read. Here you get now to sound like he's intelligent, and when he is not, it's always like, come and take whatever you can take from us, and then give us money, kind of. That's exactly what that's kind of like sounding like. It's trying to sound intelligent, right? Unintelligent rogues. Did he say Tinubu is a financial expert that work for ExxonMobil and transform the Lagos? My leader. Anyway, talking about that Tinubu. Well, there is a report that whatever this Rogbodiyan for tax reform and what have you is causing is going to be quite, a non-issue to what they are pushing again. And what's that? They say Tinubu has ordered the NPC, the National Abina Nigerian Population Commission, or what do you call them, that they must conduct census this year. So I have seen the Ronukus who have been so kind of like all over the moon, because there's a particular worry for them, even though they believe that Tinubu doesn't really lead anybody's election. But at the same time, if the validation is not strong enough, right, there is a chance truly that Tinubu is going to be a one-term president. And they believe that the fake census or the fake population of northern Nigeria, which we believe scientifically is fake. It is not only the northern Nigerian population that is fake. Southern Nigerian population is also fake. So some of them are now saying that Tinubu is proposing to conduct census, and his census is going to be a scientific one, where they are going to use your NIN, BVN, something like that. And in 2027, you have to use your NIN and BVN to vote. So to them, if this should happen, it will put to rest once and for all this idea of the northern Nigeria is more than the south. This KKK states, Kaduna, Katsina, Kano, all this other fraudulent, population figure from northern Nigeria will be put to rest. And I'm like, okay, let's see how that plays out. Sure, you get. So I've seen them talk about it. I haven't seen too much kind of details on that. However, it is part of what is believed that Kolu and his gang are planning to demystify the north. Okay? Even though this is a tax reform of a thing, it's a fraud. However, it is now obvious that if they should go by what the governors proposed, then there is nothing different from what they are currently sharing or how they are sharing the money to what Tinubu was proposing. So whatever Tinubu was proposing in his tax reform has now been defeated to what is like the status quo. Well, it's a little different. Okay, a little different, right? And somehow, if the population census is conducted, so let me give you a backstory. Okay, Nigeria is existing because Nigeria is the rob Peter to pay Paul country. It is a place where if the sharing of money stops tomorrow, Nigeria will break up before the end of 2026, latest. And except anyone who wants himself to be deceived, right? There's nothing that is currently showing that the sharing of money is going to end anytime soon. Rather, it is the art or who is sharing the money that is about to change. Rather than for the Ministry of Finance to share the money, right? Raise the money, then share the money. It is now going to be a consultant, which is the federal alpha beta kind of a thing. And that is just the only thing they want to make sure that it becomes the law. Do you get that now? So anything apart from that, the status quo remains. Let me share something with us. On this platform, I said, except for those who are naive or those who continue to lie to themselves about one Nigeria, when there is actually no one Nigeria. The Southerners believes that the North is a parasite. Oh, sorry, the North are parasites. That without the money being shared from the South, right? If the oil in the southern part of Nigeria was to be in the North, Nigeria would have broken up a long time ago. I agree to some extent on that. But if by any means you think that the idea of their tax reform was to give more money to the South that contributes more money than the North, then you probably should think again, just for your own sake, okay? Because from the latest data released, it's disputable somehow, yeah? The few viable states that can survive on their own in Nigeria, they no reach 10 out of the 36 states in Nigeria. And I'm talking about states that fall into the eastern Nigeria, the western Nigeria, the northern Nigeria, and even the Niger Delta Nigeria, including the middle belt part of Nigeria. But there is an argument that's debatable, okay? Reason is this. If there's going to be any proper restructuring for real, it simply means that let the people use their own resources for their own prosperity. Not anyone or federal government anywhere collecting the taxes for them. No. By that, then there is likely no poor state in Nigeria. I'm just saying. But in a situation whereby you do not have control over your resources, so you're already poor, and there are so many poor states in Nigeria, many poor states that cannot survive except this sharing of money. In Yoruba land, for example, we probably just have about 2 or 3 states that can survive. And what are those states? Lagos State, Ogun State, and Oyo State. The rest of the states in Yoruba land, right? They are as wretched as Zamfara, including Ondo State. Ondo State, that is an oil-producing state, is as wretched as Zamfara due to this poor mismanagement and corruption, right? Then the saddest one of them, the saddest among them is Bayelsa. Bayelsa happened to be the 3rd state that is giving Nigeria more forex, but it is just next to Zamfara. So there is a data on this VAT money sharing. Listen to this. What is each state putting in annually and what are they taking out? Lagos State contributes 2.75 trillion naira in VAT to the cover of government of Nigeria a year, 2.7 trillion. Rivers State, and then how much is Lagos collecting? 460 billion naira. So 2.3 trillion is now broken into 36 to be shared by others. See, Rivers State is next. Rivers State alone contributes 832.69 billion naira in VAT. Guess how much they took from that same VAT in a year? 186.6 billion. The rest, they added to Lagos money to share to the rest of the country. Next is Oyo State. Oyo State contributes 272 billion, 272.4 billion in VAT a year. Guess how much Oyo got back? 116 billion. The rest added to the purse to be shared to others. Kano State contributed 77.7 billion a year. And Kano took 117 billion. That means they contributed 77 and they got extra 40 billion. So that they took more than what they put in. Not just Kano. Delta State contributes 73 billion a year and they collected 80 billion. Bayelsa contributed 64 billion, collected 63 billion. That one didn't even take up to what they put in. You follow. Edun State contributed 53 billion, collected 72 billion. Anambra contributed 47 billion, 47.5 billion, and they collected 78 billion. Akwa Ibom contributed 46 billion, 46.9 billion, rather, or 47 billion, and they collected 76 billion. Adamawa contributed 42 billion naira, took 70 billion. Borno contributed 35.2 billion, and they collected 76 billion. Niger contributed 34 billion, 34.8, and they took 74.7 billion. Taraba contributed 32.3 billion, and they took 63 billion. Kwara contributed 31.5 billion, and they took 63.6 billion. Kaduna contributed 30.3 billion, and they took 88 billion. Now, population, they take share more so that you can understand what this is and other factors too. Ekiti contributed 29.5 billion, collected 63.4 billion. Jigawa contributed 28 billion, collected 76 billion. Benue contributed 26 billion, 26.5 billion, and they took 75 billion. Ogun State contributed 26.1 billion in VAT and collected 72 billion a year. Sokoto contributed 25.9 billion and took 71.9 billion. Gombe contributed 25.4 billion and they took 62.7 billion. Ebonyi contributed 25.1 billion, took 61.4 billion. Kogi contributed 23.6 billion, took 68.7 billion. Plateau contributed 22.1 billion, collected 67.8 billion. You see, this extra they are collecting now from Lagos. The money from Lagos, Rivers, and Oyo. These are the money they shared to them. So, and without this money, these states, they won't survive. They won't, they can't. Yobe contributed 19 billion and they took 61.7 billion. Bauchi contributed 19.5 billion, collected 77.4 billion. Zamfara contributed 17.8 billion and they took 67.8 billion. Nasarawa contributed 15.8 billion and they took 58.1 billion. Enugu contributed 15.3 billion and they collected 67.5 billion. Osun contributed 14.7 billion, took 68.6 billion. Ondo contributed 13.8 billion, collected 68.5 billion. Cross River contributed 9 billion and they took 64 billion. Kelby contributed 8.7 billion and they took 66.5 billion. Abia contributed 8.6 billion and they took 63.7 billion. Imo contributed 4.3 billion and they took 70.7 billion. That's 6 states of Nigeria. So if there is no sharing of money, the contraption will cease to exist. And also,